Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. We have game week 5, match week 5, whatever you want to say. And we're going to kick off Crystal Palace as they take on Brentford. Now Crystal Palace had a funny old 20 minutes as they went 2-0 up against Man City. But then obviously Man City came back and scored 4. Erling Haaland got a hat-trick in that game, ended 4-2, but they're a good team. Crystal Palace, I think, besides that game, they set up quite well in the majority of the games. So it's going to be an interesting one, this, because Brentford are another team who I think set up quite well. I think they've had a good season so far. I think both teams have had good seasons so far, but for me, I'm going to go 2-1 Palace. Fulham versus Brighton in this second match of match week 5. Fulham, they've caused quite a shock. They've took a point from Liverpool. I thought last week they done well against Arsenal, obviously taking the lead there. Unfortunate to lose that game. I believe it was Leno's debut as well. Brighton, on the other hand, look a different team. They look a new team. They look a team that could compete this season. They've done. They've kept 3 clean sheets in a row. Obviously, they beat Man United on the opening day. For me, I'm going to see 2-0 Brighton. Southampton versus Chelsea. Now this one, I don't think this one is very tight in comparison to the other games we've been talking about. I think for me this will be a walk in the park. This for Chelsea. James Ward-Prowse got sent off there last season, but he also scored a penalty there as well. I believe they won 3 or 4-1. But for me, yeah, this won't be a tight one. I'm going to see 2-0 Chelsea. Southampton just look a broken team for me. In Chelsea, while they don't look as great as they were probably last season, I do on Chelsea. Leeds United versus Everton. Now Leeds United, they have had a brilliant start to the season in comparison to what happened last season. I think they're another team. They're up there with Brighton, who are probably going to compete this season to get that sort of 10th, 11th, maybe 9th spot. On the other hand, you've got Everton, who would just look really shaky at the minute. They're still yet out there for a Premier League win. They beat Fleetwood in the Carabao Cup. Maybe that gives them some confidence. But for me, this game, it looks more likely for Leeds to win, really. Everton just do not look good. Obviously signing James Tarkowski, obviously that midfielder from the French league. I think it's Lille. But for me, I'm going to say 2-1 Leeds. Manchester City as they take on Nottingham Forest. Now, Man City have just beat Crystal Palace 4-2. Erling Haaland hat-trick, so he'll be full of praise, he'll be full of confidence going into this game. So I can't see why they can't score 4 or 5 goals in this game. Don't get me wrong, Nottingham Forest have been backed like I don't know what. I've never seen a team more backed in my footballing lifetime. So for me, walk in the park for City. If they got a result against Tottenham, I probably would have said something different. Don't get me wrong. Those times where I thought they were going to score, because they did put some menacing crosses into the box and had some good attacks as well. But yeah, walk in the park, 4-0 City. Arsenal versus Aston Villa. Now, Arsenal, they haven't lost a game this season. They haven't even drawn a game this season. They've started, since minute 1, they've done really well. So for me, I'm going to see 3-0 Arsenal against Aston Villa, because Aston Villa look they're in the same situation as Everton at the minute. They may have a win, but that was a really shaky win, in my opinion, against Everton. So another manager who looks likely to get sacked. But yeah, walk in the park for Arsenal, 3-0. Bournemouth as they take on Wolves. Now, Bournemouth are at home. The last time they were at home, they got beat 3-0 by Arsenal. And it's obviously, we have to mention that Scott Parker got the sack this morning when I'm filming this, after they got beat 9-0 off Liverpool. Wolves just got a point at their place. Monu 1-1. Anton Maximin scored a screamer in the last minute, so they were robbed of their first win. But I don't think this will be a straightforward game, as people think. I think they actually come up with a response. I wouldn't even be surprised if they actually, got another win. They have had a win this season. They did beat Aston Villa in the first game week. So for me, I'm going to go 1-1. I might have said, they'll come out with a response. I don't think they'll quite beat them, but yeah, I'm going to go 1-1. Next, we have West Ham versus Tottenham. Another London derby. I think it's the third or fourth London derby we've had this season. But West Ham just look so mediocre this season. They don't like the West Ham we've seen these past 2 or 3 seasons. They look poor. They look really poor. They just can't score goals. Don't get me wrong, David Moyes has had great backing. Santiago Kira, signing Paqueta, one of their probably big signings, one of their bigger signings this summer. But they don't look the same. The spirit's just completely down there. Don't get me wrong, a couple of good results in Europe, but Tottenham just look another team. On the other hand, Tottenham just look a completely different team. They look like they can really challenge, but obviously, don't get me wrong, they've had really good backing as well. Perisic, Bazuma, these players are still yet to have their effect, especially Bazuma. But for me, I'm going to see 3-0 Tottenham. 3-0 Tottenham. Second last game week is Liverpool against Newcastle at Anfield. Now it's Liverpool will be full of praise. They'll be full of confidence. They've just battered Bournemouth, and they've even sacked helped sack Scott Parker, got him out the door for Bournemouth. So full of confidence, full of praise. Salah, it's balmy how he wasn't involved in any of the 9 goals. Louis Dyer's getting 2 goals. And they haven't even started this season off this well. They've had a couple of icky results in. They got beat off Man United 2-1. It could have been 3-1. Drew with Palace. They could have even got beaten there. They had 10 men there. But Newcastle, on the other hand, they're obviously unbeaten in their first 4 games. But they've have a bit of an injury crisis at the minute. We're out with Wilson. They don't have him. They don't have St. Maximin. It was scored their only goal against Wolves. They got him a point. They don't have Bruno. They're lacking in sort of, the midfield, the attack. If they had went into this game with Bruno, St. Maximin, Wilson, I think they would have actually stand a chance. It potentially have won the game. But for me, now those 3-4 players are now out, this completely changes the whole sort of how the game's going to play out. So for me, 3-0 Liverpool. Leicester versus Manchester United. Now, 2 teams who have had a poor start to the season. Although Man United have won back-to-back games, keeping back-to-back clean sheets, but they still have had a disastrous start to the season, Man United. But Leicester are just going backwards. If you thought they were bad last season, they're even worse, I think, this season. They're still yet to have a win. I don't think they've even signed a player. They got rid of Kasper Schmeichel. They've got rid of Wesley Fofana because he wasn't happy there. So they just look deflated for me. Leicester City this season. Last season it was 4-2. Leicester City beat Man United 4-2. I can't remember all the goal scorers. I think Patson Daka scored 2. I remember Harry Maguire having a bit of a howler. But for me, I'm going to go 2-1 Man United. And that is all the games in game week 5. All 10 games completed. Some interesting results there. Some tight games. Some slightly less tight games. Some batterings in there as well for certain teams. But I should right out to be an interesting match week, and I look forward to it. But if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, make sure to follow, make sure to subscribe. I'll be posting this. Well, actually, I'll be posting a teaser on my TikTok, and I'll be posting the full video on YouTube. So yeah, hope you enjoy. I'll see you all later.